Shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, things just went from bad to worse. And this is inspired by a series of articles, which I have linked in the description box already. So if you look in the description box, you'll see article 1, 2, and 3 in this order, from this one to this one to this one. And the main article that I want to take a look at is this one from Zero Hedge. But I want to, briefly read through these two here. And the reason why I titled it "Things Just Went from Bad to Worse" is that we already know about the energy crisis that's happening there in the UK. All right. And really in Europe. Let me just say it that way. And it's affecting a lot of things. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on how in Spain they were basically saying your air conditioner had to be at a certain temperature. You couldn't take it higher or, lower. Your heater, all these things. They were putting these regulations in place because they were trying to slow down, or take certain measures to help with this energy crisis. But what they're seeing is it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Now, the first article here, all right, this is the new steps that they are taking. Here it says German shopping centers switch off escalators. It says here businesses take energy saving steps as need to conserve resources across Europe becomes more pressing. So pretty much you have a lot of these malls, these large shopping centers in Germany that typically you go into a mall, they have different floors, different things on different floors. And so they have the escalators that people can go, you stand on it, it takes you up. But they're switching that off during certain periods of time because they need to save energy. Because remember, a mall, if you look at a mall, when you go into a mall, you're typically thinking of what they have there and the food and the items you can buy and things like that. But you don't really notice how much energy the mall is actually using. A mall of that size, think about the energy bill you pay, right? Based on, the energy that you use, the electricity you use, the water you use. Your house is only but so big, right? When you go into a mall, they have TV screens. They have lights everywhere. They have escalators that are constantly in use. If they have multiple stores that are using blenders, they're using microwaves, they're using ovens, they're using, all different machines all at the same time. The air conditioner's on if it's in the summer. The heater's on if it's in the winter. They have elevators that are working. They have those little robot machine things that are roaming about. There's a constant they have massage chairs, they have music playing. All of these things are energy consuming. Okay. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that I didn't even mention, but all these things are being, it's happening over there, right? You go to if there's let's say Apple, right? There's an Apple store in the mall. You have all these iPads, these different stations, so you can test out, oh, what does this device look like? Typically, they're plugged in to be charging all the time so that the battery doesn't die. All of these things. So just one mall alone, maybe just one floor alone, is using a whole lot of energy. And you have multiple of these big shopping centers in different cities, in different locations, in different parts. So that's a lot of energy consumption. And so they're taking these different steps in order to reduce that. But turning off escalators is not, I mean, it's a beginning, but it's showing you the direction that they're starting to step in, because they're showing you that this energy crisis is not stopping, it's not easing up. All right. And I remember when it first started, we were doing videos on it, we were talking about it. And now it's escalating and getting worse and worse. Right. But the real reason as to why I said that things just went from bad to worse is in the next article. But let's take a look through this article first. So it says here, large department stores and malls across Germany have started turning off escalators, or limiting. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it does begin, and Shalom to all you listening. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatham. So it says here, large department stores and malls across Germany have started turning off escalators or limiting their use in the latest bid to save energy. The German tabloid Bild reported on Saturday. Escalators are out of action in several stores of the German electronics chain Saturn, and in department store giants including Karstadt, Galeria, Kaufhof. Um, in ECE shopping centers, the devices are being switched off during mornings and evenings. And soon there's going to have to be the lights, it's going to have to be the heaters, it's going to have to be all of these things. It says the furniture giant IKEA is reportedly considering a similar step. We started saving energy on lighting and escalators. We do this as much as possible, trying not to affect our customers. Galeria Kaufhof sales group chief Miguel Muhlenbach told the media. And the thing is, right, you're going to start losing customers regardless, because when the crunch time comes, if people have to make a decision between putting food on the table and paying electricity bills, at what point are they going to have money to come to the mall to do what exactly? They're worried about how they're going to pay their bills. What are they going to come and do at a mall? You know what I mean? Like the mall, yeah, there's certain things you can get at the mall, but when do you typically see people when they go to the mall to do shopping, right? Not the grocery store, the mall. Yo, let's go to the mall. People are not going to be in the mood to hear that. You turn around, you tell, yeah, you want to go to the mall today? You might get a death stare, because they're gonna be pissed off looking at you. You think the mall's what's on my mind right now? You want to freeze today? I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it is, So it says, so pretty much is what they're doing, right? Now the next one here is, it says, Finnish firm warns of toilet paper shortage. Now it says toilet paper, but this is really going to apply to a lot of different things that are being produced. Remember, resources get sent to companies. Companies manufacture these things, and then they get sent to these stores where they're sold. All of them run on energy. Without energy, the food processing companies, all of these companies that make different products are going to have trouble. They're not going to be able to, they're going to have to cut down on production. When they cut down on production, that means you're finding less and less items in the store. A lot of people don't know how a lot of these things that they go to the store and buy are actually made. They have to be processed because it's being shipped out in mass. One person alone is not going to do this and put this here and tie it up. And no, they have machines. They have an assembly line that does all of that. Watch the TV show How It's Made. They'll show you. They have the what do they call that? Something belt where you put the thing on it and it just keeps on moving it. So then it gets to this part and the machine takes it and it packs it up this way. Then it does this. What do you think those machines use? Energy. Okay. So it said it's saying toilet paper, but that's only a start. Now, why is there a toilet paper shortage? It says energy costs continue to hold back production. Metza Tissue says soaring energy costs, conveyor belt, the water. It says soaring energy costs across the EU are causing temporary stoppages at production sites and could lead to product shortages, the Finnish company Metza Tissue warned on Friday. So now think about it, right? This toilet paper company is facing a problem where they're having temporary stoppages at their production sites. Now, is toilet paper the only product that requires that has production sites? No, there's many other things that are probably higher on the priority list that also have production sites. But guess what? The same issue that Metza Tissue is facing is going to be the same issue that all these other products are facing as well, because they all need energy. And in order to conserve energy with a limited supply, there's going to be rations. Okay. And it's going to get pretty ugly. So it says here, and you see in the next article how people are already feeling about this, how people already, because off the top, the dire details, you don't really think of that. But what about people that live on machines? Like you're gonna read in the other article, that need to have electricity to power those machines, those life-saving machines. Hard times, man, hard times. So it says here, during the recent weeks, Metsa Tissue has had to curtail its production both in Zelina and Kryuzau mills, Slovakia and Germany, for several days because of the high energy price peaks, the company said in a statement. According to Metsa Tissue, further production freezes are likely as energy costs continue to rise. And if there's further production freezes, then that means that there's less things being produced. Now, depending on how bad it gets, it might, because it might just start with, okay, well, we got to have these periodic freezes, but then eventually it might get to the point where they'll say, well, now we just can't even continue production because we can't afford. Remember that all businesses have this profit margin, meaning that there's a certain amount that you put into making whatever you make, and then there's a certain amount that you expect to get back, so that you can cover the costs that you had, and then make a profit on that. When companies get to the point where they're spending more money than they're making, that's when they have to call it quits and say, no, we can't do this anymore, because now we are paying for these consumers. That's not how it works. When they get to the point where they can't pass on the price to the consumers, and they have to take the hit, then that's it. They can't do that anymore. So they got to shut down. So if it's costing me, say I'm I don't know, I'm a food processing plant. I process something. And now, because of the energy bills skyrocketing, it is costing me more to make these things than I can get back from making these things. What do you think I'm going to do? Eventually, I'm going to have to stop, and that's going to start happening. The Europe is being turned into a third world country. I mean, maybe even worse. And it's not going to just stop at Europe. And this is all, eventually, this is all going to lead to, the solution is carbon taxing and carbon monitoring and climate change, all these things, because eventually that's how we conserve energy. And that's the new system we need to run on. And, we got to move to the green, whatever. Remember that their solutions come out of chaos. So never let a good crisis go to waste. And if you can't find a good crisis, you make one. Going on, it says here, the company warned that the enforced stoppages are expected to impact consumers, as substantial amounts of daily production losses will occur. And don't be surprised if more and more companies come up saying the same thing. Yep, we also do the same thing over here. Yep, same thing over here. And as these things are happening, which should be firm warnings in the minds of the people to say, look, man, honestly, like you got to sit down and be real with yourself. You're seeing what's going on, but people are just moving about. Like, if I can just act like it's not happening, then I guess it won't affect me. That's not how life works. There's a car coming to hit you in the middle of the road, but you're going to act like there's nothing there. And then all of a sudden nothing is going to touch you. This is not a fairy tale movie. This ain't the more I believe in it, the realer it is. No, it's real regardless. But you have people that are making deliberately, no, I don't like to watch the news nowadays. It's too scary. And every time I turn it on, they're talking about bad and, scary things. I don't like to hear that. If you don't hear that, you will not be informed. And you're not informed, when you're going to find out? When you're out there in the cold and they hit you with the boom. You're like, whoa, what's this? Oh, you didn't hear about what's going on? We're not doing this anymore. Or the price for this is here. Or we don't have that in stock anymore. And you could have saved yourself all that headache. You probably could have came up with a better plan had you been informed, And then you have the second batch who they just don't care. All they care about is being outside. Oh, the summer's almost ending. We got to go outside. We got to go and have a good time. A good time. You want to have a good time? All right. You go ahead and have a good time. So it says here, the company operates a total of 9 paper mills across Europe and sells toilet and tissue paper. Um, I thought it said they sell. So I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But it says here, toilet and tissue paper under brands including Lambi and Surla. Its Nordic market director, Jenny Silanpa. Now I'm sure that the A's with the two dots on them make a certain distinct sound, but I'm not, I'm not. We're just gonna call her Silanpa. It says here, warned that such items could be affected. There is a risk that there will be problems with paper volumes, and then now we got to also think about this, right? Because remember, everything is like a domino. It's like dominoes stacked up. Everything has an effect. You're not going to touch one thing and it's not going to affect another. No, there's always something else that is affected, or one thing triggers another thing. Because now let's think about it, right? Okay, the energy crisis is triggering manufacturing shortages because they're relying on energy, but it's too much. So they reduce production or stop it. What does that do now? Because now the consumer is affected. So what goes into people's minds? Now they say, oh shoot, there's a toilet paper shortage. What should I do? Let me buy as much toilet paper as I can. Because that way, if anything happens and I know I can't go back to the store and get it, at least I'll have some stocked up at home. That leads to hoarding. Okay. And when hoarding comes, then that brings even more problems. So there's always one thing that triggers another thing, and typically people don't sit down and actually, you can't cover every single aspect of what will be affected by one thing. It's usually the main highlight that is on your mind until you run into another problem and realize, oh, this is a byproduct of this first problem. Damn, I didn't think it ran that deep, but it does run that deep. That's why we're coming into a time like never before. And there's going to be things that people didn't account for. This is why you need to put your trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because you can't account for everything. You're only human. There's only so much you'll remember. There's only so much you can think about. There's only so much you can plan for. But you can't plan for the unexpected because you don't know what to plan for. So you may think that you've planned for everything that you may know, but everything you know is not everything there is. What about the things you don't know? You can't plan for something you don't know. And if you don't plan for it, now you're screwed. That's why the ultimate foolproof plan is to trust in the Lord, because he knows what's coming. He's bringing it all. And the scripture said that he will deliver us out of it. So you put your trust in the Lord. Let him take care of the deliverance part and you focus on what he asks you to do. That's as simple as that. That's what the Lord said, right? Seek ye the kingdom of God first, and everything else shall be added on to you. Let the Lord worry about the rest. All right, he can do it best anyway. And you just do what he told you to do. That's it. If you want to be delivered, if you want to make it through these times, that's what you do. Obedience. Remember, the Lord values obedience. He doesn't want you to stop the work that you're doing for him to go and worry about all these other things. He got that. The Lord already got that. Okay. So it says here, it says there is a risk that there will be problems. So, right. So you can have hoarding, right? Hoarding is going to take place. But what else? There is a risk that there will be problems with paper volumes if this situation continues, he said, adding that rising cost of production may also lead to toilet and kitchen paper becoming more expensive. So now let's step back and think about this. So you have inflation, soon to be hyperinflation, that's spiraling out of control over there. Cost of living is becoming impossible because your paycheck is not catching up to the prices that things are going up to because of inflation. And now, in addition to that, you have to worry about energy bills that you have to pay. But you know what? All your other bills are going up as well. Do you know how screwed people are? Because now you're saying, okay, all right, in order to pay for my electricity, it's going to be very difficult because I need to also pay for food, right? But now your electricity bill is going up, and that was your number one priority. You could just barely squeeze in enough money to pay for your regular food prices, hoping they would stay the same, but that's not going to happen. Food prices are going to go up because of inflation. They're going to go up because of a shortage of materials, and then they're going to go up because of a shortage of energy for the companies that produce and manufacture these foods. So your energy bills are going to go up, but all your other bills, all the other things that you buy are also going to go up because the people that make them, their energy bills are going up. So now they're passing it on to you. So it's a tsunami of just a debt and death sentence, as the next article's title is. So it says here, right, it says becoming more expensive. And what people really should be looking at is what comes next. It starts with toilet and kitchen paper, but it doesn't stop there. It's the Meta Tissue is not the only company that relies on energy for production. So that means they're not the only ones that are gonna be coming out with this information. And people are not gonna be happy at all. All right, they're not gonna be happy at all, and they're gonna want to do something, you know. And these uproars that are coming, well, I mean, they've already announced to you that they said, look, this civil unrest that's coming is gonna make the uproars during the pandemic look like I don't know, a birthday party or something like that, because this is gonna be bad. People are not gonna be out here talking about, oh, free us, we don't want to be locked down. They're gonna be talking about, look, my man, I'm freezing and I'm hungry, and if you don't do something, you know what? I'm just going F it. I'm going to the store. I'm just take whatever I can get. Right? When people have nothing left to lose, they lose it. So it says earlier this week, German industrial lobby, dye paper, warned that the natural gas shortage in Europe could lead to reduced production of toilet paper in Germany. All right. So there you go. This is article number 3. You can find it in the description box. And so now let's go to the main one. Now this is from zerohedge.com. And it says here, UK passes debt and death sentence on millions by increasing energy price cap by 80%. Now, it says here that the 80% rise in the UK's cap for consumer electricity and natural gas bills will this fall will drive millions of households into energy poverty this winter as worsening cost of living crisis stokes fears of recession. So if I understand correctly, if there was a cap for how much they can charge you for energy, they just increased that by 80%. Meaning that, let's say they were to say the most you can charge for energy is $100. Now they said, okay, now you can we've put that up by like 80%. So I don't know, like $180 or something like that. So I mean, at least that's what I get from it. So regardless, either way it goes, people are screwed, man. All right. Now you're starting to feel like when a storm is coming, you feel the first wave of winds, but the closer it gets, the stronger the winds get. Or that's what's coming. That's what people are feeling now. You felt the demic, you felt the lockdowns, you felt the warnings, you felt all of that, but now you're starting to feel effects. See, now people are feeling what they're feeling is not coming from what they're reading in articles or what they're seeing on the news. This is coming from their pockets. It's coming from what they're experiencing. They're giving personal testimonies in their day-to-day lives. Now they're saying that a lot of people are opting to go back to work in the office because it's too costly to work from home. And this is just the beginning. A lot of people are gonna find out, man, that the scriptures don't lie. The scriptures do not lie. All right. Habakkuk 2:3. It shall surely come to pass, it shall not tarry. It will not lie. And you want to make sure you don't find that out the hard way. So it says all the chatter today among British people is energy regular Ofgem's rise in the cap on power bills to a record 3,549. I always forget this. I think it's pounds. Yeah, I think it's pounds. Euros is the E. So it says here, which is equivalent, of $4,189 beginning October 1st from 1,971 pounds, which is the equivalent for us of $2,330. Do you see how much of a rise that is? That's almost half. I mean, almost double. It says that cap is expected to rise. Oh, excuse me. Is expected to rise to 5,439 pounds. These are some pretty high numbers, right? Which is the equivalent of $6,429 by January. Oh, and then it's gonna go up some more. Okay, and 7,272 pounds, equivalent of 8,594 by spring. So imagine imagine this, right? Imagine that you start off with maybe the what does it say? The energy regulators power bills, like the cap that they can hit or charge what, and I don't know the exact details of the context, but or the context of the details. But let's say it starts off at 2,330. And you mean to tell me that in less than 1 year, that thing is going to go up to 8,594? Do you know how that's going to reflect on you? That's those are drastic jumps right there. And people will not be able to afford that. It says all due to skyrocketing wholesale. So now, right? Now, let's see how good of an idea it was to say, let's throw some sanctions on Russia. Yeah, a great idea. These guys, that's totally cut them out. It's totally blocked them off. And we told you that they know what they're doing. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They're gonna watch themselves bleed out. They knew. They're not idiots, man. Well, these people, do you think that all of Europe are just a bunch of idiots? These are idiots who have a plan for world domination. Come on. No, they're not idiots. They're deliberate. And they know how to, well, really, they look at the people as idiots, right? Because you need to sit back and say, you guys are not a bunch of idiots, but you're making very stupid and idiotic decisions right now. Decisions that are just so bad. Like even somebody, a high schooler or a middle schooler, would be able to use common sense to figure this out. So something isn't adding up here. You're not too incompetent to make the right decision. So why are you still making the wrong one? Maybe it has to be deliberate. It just has to be. So maybe you're not an idiot. You're just very sinister. It is very wicked. So it says here, it says all due to skyrocketing wholesale nat gas and electricity prices caused by declining Russian energy supplies to Europe. If you know that you depend on energy from Russia, you gonna turn around and say, nah, we're gonna cut them off. Did you even think of like a backup plan of how you would do this? And it says made worse by Western sanctions that have backfired. And they warned about this when they were doing it. They said, look, this thing could really backfire because it'll affect us in the short term. Russia won't even be affected until like long term. That's if they get affected. But that's okay, because this is an avenue that they found in order to wiggle in some hard times, So it says an increase of this much cannot be budgeted for by households with no wiggle room, said Peter Smith, Director of Policy and Advocacy for the National Energy Action Charity. Come October, which is really about to be like in a month or so, right? Because August is pretty much almost over. Just like that, this year, oh my Lord, just like that, this year is almost over. Man, hey, truly, how about Shem Shai is turning up, man. He's turning up, and it's only going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and until this thing goes down. So, things are happening. Things are popping off, and they're building up. They're building up and building up and building up. So it says, come October, low-income households will simply not turn on their heating. So, and this article is going to tell you about the dark winter, right? The dark winter, dark winter, dark winter. Well, now it makes sense, right? Literally a dark winter, a cold and dark winter. But if they don't turn on their heating, you know how cold it gets, right? And with these devils having the ability to manipulate temperatures, because yes, they do. They have machines that can do that. I mean, wow. Oh wow. So it says Reuters spoke to one Brit, Philip Keatley, who said the cost of living has increased, and yet you're still expected to live on the money provided for when there wasn't a crisis. I can either have my heating on or eat. And I did a video like that, right? You either starve to death or you freeze to death. And this is the point. The point is, before any of this happened, let's say you were getting paid $15 an hour and you were like, able to pay your bills and have just a little bit over, but you got used to it and you managed. And now you're seeing these high cost of living, all this stuff is jumping, and you're still getting paid $15 an hour. How? This goes beyond budgeting. How? That's why he said, I have my heater on, or I eat. What is it going to be? So this means it's likely that people will be skipping meals. I mean, wow. Another Brit, Dawn White, who has kidney failure, fears the cost of soaring energy costs means she won't be able to afford life-saving medical treatment. Without my dialysis machine 5 times a week, 20 hours, I will die, the 59-year-old woman said. And these elites know that, but they don't care. Soaring energy inflation has crushed real earnings for Brits, forcing many to pull back on spending. There's a video, I think I've re-uploaded a couple of times. It's like an audio story. I think it's titled "How It Will End" or "How It Will Go Down," something along those lines. And if you haven't heard it, I definitely recommend going and hearing it. See if I can find it. But it basically in it, there's like a narration of like economic crisis and things getting bad, and how this pretty well off, like decent family went from being well off and decent to literally like just barely surviving. They had to first they cut out the after school activities, they cut out their memberships, they cut off those things, and then eventually as things got worse, they had to cut out more and more and more things. And I think it's How It Will End. It's probably no, not this. Damn. How it Yep, there it is. How It Will Go Down. See, I re-uploaded it twice. Must watch, because when you listen to this, for those that don't know, let me just put it. I'm sure a majority of brothers and sisters have already seen it, but you always have newcomers, so I throw this here. Listen to it. It's only like 20 minutes, but it gives a real realistic scenario of like how things like could play out, right? But it says here, but we know, as the scriptures say, it'll still be a time like never before. So even if it starts off that way, you can expect things to climb to a level where it's like almost incomprehensible. So it says the higher cap rate could push inflation to even more elevated levels, as UK economist at Citi warned CPI inflation could reach a mind-boggling 18.6% print in January due to soaring energy prices. And that's what they foresee from now. Maybe in the next month or two, it might go up. They're not going to be worrying about inflation much longer, because they're going to have to worry about hyperinflation. And you can say goodbye to those economies at that point. It says the last time CPI printed above, and you know what? One thing I was thinking about as well is that these elites, they're monitoring everything that's going on, and they're monitoring the rate at which people are asking different questions. What is the demographic of people that are watching what kind of videos, that are leaving what kind of comments, that are asking what kind of questions, that are supporting what kind of movements. And they're seeing that there's a high level of resistance in people towards their agenda. So when you foresee something like that, what do you, from their standpoint, what do you think would be a good feasible plan to go with? A good feasible plan to go with would be to say, there's a lot of resistance. If we try to just push right now, it's gonna be very messy. But now if we bring such a major, painful crisis that just breaks their spirits and breaks their ability to even want to resist. I mean, it's so bad that they will take whatever we throw at them in order to escape this pain. We would have a better chance and less resistance, right? And that's what they did. When they first spoke about the Vanessa, people, oh nah, what, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing that. But when they came and said you can't go to work without it, now I ain't doing that. Turned into I mean, maybe I might just do one or two. They know how, look, they know how the minds of people work. They've been conditioning you for years. They have been conditioning you and priming you for years. They know what triggers you. They know what doesn't trigger you. They know how to break you. They know all of these things. So, I mean, this is just me speaking as a man, but it makes sense that they're getting ready to bring in such a like a major painful era of suffering that by the time they present their solutions, people are gonna run, people are gonna run to it, line up for it. Think about it. How can people line up for something that right now they're looking at you crazy when you even mention it to them? Yo, would you ever take a implant? What the hell are you talking about? I ain't taking no damn implant. What's wrong with you? Right? To now lining up, brothers have had dreams and visions of this. You gotta think about it, right? What is gonna cause that? How do you switch? How are you gonna switch from being so against it to lining up for it? There has to be something in between. And these elites know that. That's why they're allowing these things to happen. They need people to be desperate, because when you're most desperate, that's when they can come in and give you the offer that you can't refuse. So it says, the last time CPI printed above 18% was during the stagflationary years of the mid 1970s, more precisely 1976, after an oil supply shock led to soaring energy prices worldwide. And something that's also good to do is to read about these historical accounts. Like, when did this happen in the past? What were the conditions? What did it, like? How did people react to it? What happened? And it'll give you a better scope, because when you look at the future or the present now, you can see, oh, okay, well, back then this is what happened, but also back then they weren't facing this and this and this like we are now. So it looks like even though it was bad then, it's looking like it'll be much worse now. You know, people have less of a working brain now. It says currently the CPI stands at 10.1% in July, for the first time in 4 decades, primarily driven by skyrocketing food and fuel prices as households crumble under the weight of the cost of living crisis. Remember that when people get to the point where they're out there stealing and rioting and looting because of food and fuel and cost of living, that's a different kind of energy that they're under. This isn't a no justice, no peace kind of march. They don't want to be peaceful. When somebody's hungry and they're very, very, very desperate, they don't want to be peaceful. They don't care about peaceful. They want solutions, and they want them fast. That's why it says that the 2nd Ezra 15, the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're gonna get fed up, and they're just gonna go out and just do whatever the spirit that's on them is directing them to do. And as you can see, crime, even now, right, while society is still at some point of functionality, look at how crime is going up. Every single day, somebody's getting shot, somebody's getting run over by a car, somebody's getting robbed, somebody's getting stabbed, somebody's getting abducted, somebody's getting raped. This is becoming like commonplace every single time, man. I see it on the news, I see it in the news clips. There's always a man got stabbed on this day, a man got robbed, a man got kicked in the face, a man got this. Judgment is going on left and right, and the rate is increasing very, very fast. So, as the scriptures say, measuring the times, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. You always keep that in mind. When you always pray, pray before you leave your house, pray to the Lord to have that protection upon you and your loved ones. Because it's not everything that you'll be able to foresee, and be able to do something about. So you need to have the protection of the Lord. All right, do your best. Try your best to keep a nice, good rep with the Lord, man, because we need the Lord now more than ever. Judgment is going out left and right, and that means what? We have to be circumspect. You know, when you outside, when wherever you are, always be circumspect. Don't just be walking up into places, you know, with your eyes closed, like everything is all good. You know, observe things. Observe people. You know, do like you now isn't the time of like this is what I wanted. I just want to do this. I just want to do. Now you got to go into that mindset of doing what you need to do, doing it quick and efficient, and then that's it. If you don't have to be somewhere, you don't need to be there. You know, you got to apply wisdom. So it says, inflation at decades highs has pushed UK misery index, an economic indicator to gauge how the average person is doing, to 3-decade highs. A sign discontent is emerging. And what's going to come out with discontent? You're going to have civil unrest. All right, major civil unrest. Let's see. All right, I'm going to just jump down. Certain points they just give like stats. Actually, let me read this. It says, it's going to be horrendous, said Bill Bullen, Chief Executive Officer of Utilita Energy. It says, which supplies 810,000 homes in the UK. We are going to see a big increase in people struggling to pay for their energy bills. Last winter's cap was £1,277, but that was before European leaders sanctioned the hell out of Moscow for the invasion of Ukraine. People are going to start catching on and they're going to be pissed off, man. They're going to say, whoa, look at what you done did. You want to run ahead and sanction, and now look at what you did. And now look at us suffering because of this. It says, and winter's coming. That's the painful part about it is winter is coming. Like you're going to go through this crisis in the wintertime. You imagine having to be in a long line in the wintertime just to go into a store to find out that it's something that is already overpriced is out of stock. It says with the cold season just a few short months away, power prices are already at record highs as Russia's Nord Stream 1 nat gas pipeline to the bloc experiences supply disruptions. UK nat gas prices are also hyperinflating, and that will cause other things to hyperinflate. It says this winter could be one of the darkest in decades for UK households, aka a dark winter. A dark winter. The government has provided billions of pounds to support families. Now, and we know that we're very, very close to this point because the MOTB is being talked about more than ever. That means that we are that close. So when these warning signs, start to come out more and more, that tarrying in between, as the scriptures say, though it tarry, wait for it, that tarrying is coming to an end. And we're now entering that point of it shall surely come, it shall not tarry. It says, the government has provided billions of pounds to support families, but that may not reduce the growing discontent. The resistance is growing as more than 116,000 irritated people have pledged not to pay their electricity bill this fall when the new price cap begins in a movement called Don't Pay UK. But what happens when they shut off your electricity because you're not paying bills? Then they're gonna jump out to the streets and get mad because they're gonna say, now you shut off our electricity. It says Ofgem just passed a debt and death sentence on millions. We've been left with no option but to refuse to pay. The anonymous group spearheading the effort to have more than 1 million Brits boycott paying their power bill by October 1st. So we got to keep an eye on that. We got to keep oh, look at that. No one cold or hungry this winter. Pledge to strike and then don't pay UK. So that's a movement that's going on there. It says soaring power bills will have a devastating impact on society. far greater than the GFC over a decade ago, warned James Cooper, a partner in Baringa. He warned, we're now moving into territory where a majority of households are placed into debt or a very fragile financial position. A financial implosion of the households will spur discontent in what could be winter from hell across the UK. Maybe I should have titled the video that Winter from Hell. And this is what they're telling you. I mean, we've been warning you about this, but they are telling you out of their own mouths, winter from hell is coming. So, I mean, if you still don't believe that the hard times are coming, I mean, for whatever reason, well, you need to wake up, man. You need to wake up because we're here. Jacob's trouble is right there, and you can see it. These are the signs, and very soon the warnings are going to stop, and it's just going to be all hell breaking loose. So that's where we're at. Now, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 6. It says, "Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child." And this is going to come here. Oh, best believe this is going to come here. This isn't going to be isolated to Europe, but keep in mind that Europe plays a very big role in, in the global economic system. Like, remember that everything is interconnected. When one country, especially a country that plays a major role, suffers economically, that affects the global economic outlook. So when you have this going on in Europe, it will affect others. And Europe is usually thought of to be like one of, like that nice power structure. So if they're going through this, well, it says, "Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness." So Jeremiah is saying here, like, do men go through birth pains? Do men give birth? Because I'm seeing men out here with their hands on their loins, like a woman that's going through those birth pains, that travail. And why is that? Because of how painful the times of Jacob's trouble are going to be. Okay, a lot of men they're not gonna be able to be men. They're not gonna be able to stand up and stand firm, because it's gonna take a divine spirit to be on you to be able to stand firm in these times, to be bold, to make proper decisions, to know what decisions to make, to know what to do. This is why it says in Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Proverbs 18 and 10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run into it and are safe. See, now our investment is about to start paying off big time, because when you start seeing how the Lord is going to be providing for his men and the believers in the Lord, versus how everybody else is going to be struggling, you're going to see, I mean, you're going to be more than glad. Oh, thank you, Lord. That we kept on pushing, that we kept doing what is pleasing to you, because people are about to go through it. People are about to go through it, man. The Lord is bringing judgment, and it doesn't matter if you are an Israelite or not. What matters is if you are doing what's right and what's pleasing to the Lord. A lot of people are going to start going through it, man. And they're going to start realizing, man, I knew I should have put my pride aside, and I should have I knew something wasn't right about this. So it says here, verse 7, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it," and that he is the elect, that he is the number that we want to be a part of. All right, that's where we want to be. We don't want to be a part of the rest. We want to be a part of the he, those that have abundance, those that are going to be rejoicing in these times, those that are going to be fed, those that are going to be protected. All right. The perspective of the world is about to change very drastically. And people are going to go from worrying about luxury, worrying about success, worrying about the regular things they worry about, to worrying about survival. That's what's coming. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 12. It says, and at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. So people are not going to have any solution out. That's what's gonna be most painful, is that suffering and not having any way out, not having any way to make the pain stop. That is gonna get a lot of people, man. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Put the like I said, the articles are linked in the description box already, so you can get access to them over there. But hey, as you can see, man, these are the times that we're in. These are the times that we're in. These are not times to be played with. So you gotta get serious. You gotta stay serious, man, and keep serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because if you stop, that's your ass right there. All right. This is Big Nez, Ecclesiasticus 19 and 18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. And so hey, we pray that the Lord has mercy on us, and as Habakkuk said, oh Lord, in wrath remember mercy. So Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rachak Udash. And until next time, Shalom.